Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever imagined that a single penny, just 1 cent, could be worth a jaw-dropping $672 million? It may sound like a fantasy, but the reality behind the 2010 United States 1 cent coin defies all expectations and continues to stun collectors and treasure hunters around the world. And today, you're going to hear the entire gripping story of how a small copper-colored coin, usually disregarded or left in the bottom of a drawer, turned into one of the most iconic and high-valued errors in numismatic history, creating a tidal wave of interest and triggering a modern gold rush across the coin collecting community as people everywhere began digging into their jars, purses, and pockets in hopes of uncovering a piece of hidden fortune. The 2010 penny, struck in Denver, was initially intended to be just another routine issue in the long line of Lincoln cents, a continuation of a familiar design and formula that began in 1909. But what unfolded behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint in Denver changed everything as a series of unnoticed errors, misalignments, and bizarre striking inconsistencies created a few uniquely flawed specimens that would eventually become legends, and it wasn't just one type of mistake that elevated the 2010 penny to this unimaginable value but rather a cluster of rare anomalies rarely seen together on one coin, including double die obverse features where Abraham Lincoln's profile appears shadowed or slightly duplicated, especially visible on his nose, chin, and the date itself. Then there were coins with off-center strikes where parts of the design were clipped or shifted creating ghostly edges, some with partial collars causing bizarre distortions on the rim, and others that bore dramatic die cracks resembling lightning bolts slashing across the face of the coin, along with examples showing what experts have called floating memorial anomalies, where the Lincoln memorial appears elevated or misaligned from its usual base position, and some ultra-rare finds even demonstrated planchet errors where the penny was struck on the wrong metal type entirely, possibly a leftover blank from a foreign coin run or a transition metal, resulting in incorrect weight and unusual color tones, all of which contributed to their uniqueness and skyrocketing appeal. And then came the big discovery moment when a numismatist at a local Denver coin show stumbled upon one such flawed 2010 penny among a common roll, instantly noticing its peculiar texture and odd glint under natural light, and after further magnified inspection, he confirmed it bore a mix of triple strike marks and a rare die clash pattern involving elements of both obverse and reverse designs bleeding into one another, and that very coin would eventually be auctioned through a renowned numismatic auction house where bidding exploded from a modest opening offer to an earth-shattering $672 million final sale price, making headlines worldwide and catapulting the 2010 penny into the pantheon of the most expensive coins ever sold, sparking a wildfire of curiosity, media coverage, expert investigations, and viral videos that flooded the internet with passionate collectors revealing their own finds, hoping to identify variations of the error pattern that had stunned the world. And as more variations surfaced, some featuring missing mint marks, rotated dies, improper alloy blends, and even remnants of die polishing gone wrong, the lore around the 2010 1 cent coin grew even deeper, attracting major institutions, historical preservationists, and investment moguls, who began viewing high-grade error coins not just as collectibles but as assets capable of outperforming traditional markets. And behind this incredible saga is a fascinating intersection of history, human error, advanced minting technology, and the unpredictability of mass production where a few misplaced alignments or undetected malfunctions at blazing press speeds could inadvertently manufacture fortune in the form of flawed beauty, reminding everyone that even in our automated world, rarity and imperfection hold an unmatched value. And as collectors now meticulously examine 2010 pennies under microscopes, weigh them with digital scales, and check edge textures with UV lights, the hunt intensifies with a new level of sophistication, and even coin grading services have added specialized certifications for known error types in this year's issue, with population reports showing only a handful of coins with the exact same error combinations, further driving their exclusivity. And countless stories continue to emerge from everyday people finding astonishing variants in coin rolls, vending machines, estate sales, flea markets, or inherited collections, where a single overlooked penny suddenly transforms their financial reality. And while the majority of 2010 pennies remain standard and worth face value, the possibility, however slim, That one in your possession might carry the unique fingerprint of the Denver Mint's rarest blunder is what keeps the dream alive. Encouraging everyone to take a second look, to search those old containers and forgotten piggy banks, because history shows us that the greatest treasures often come from the most unexpected places, and the legacy of the $672 million 2010 D1 cent coin stands as a symbol of hope, curiosity, and the idea that even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary potential. And if you found this story fascinating and want to stay updated on the latest unbelievable discoveries in the coin world, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss a chance to learn how your change could change your life. Next, 1986 1 cent USA coin. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could be the key to unlocking a fortune beyond your wildest dreams? A simple copper-colored piece of metal that blends into everyday life yet harbors a secret capable of changing someone's financial future forever. Because the incredible story of the 1986 United States 1 cent coin valued at a staggering $670 million is not just a tale of error and rarity but a real-life modern-day treasure hunt that continues to captivate coin collectors, treasure seekers, and numismatic experts all across the globe, and it all begins with what most people would consider just another ordinary penny, a common coin produced in the hundreds of millions by the United States Mint during a time when the Lincoln cent had long since become a staple of American currency. But beneath the surface of the 1986 cent lies a storm of historical oddities, minting mistakes, and production inconsistencies that have elevated select specimens into a legendary category of their own, transforming them from pocket change into artifacts of immense financial and historical worth, with the most coveted example reaching a jaw-dropping sale price of $670 million at a high-profile private auction after years of speculation and build-up from the numismatic community. And what makes this coin so valuable isn't just one mistake or flaw but a rare combination of several ultra-scarce minting errors that came together in perfect storm fashion to create a coin that could never be replicated again, including an extraordinary double-die obverse where Abraham Lincoln's profile and date appear to be shadowed with sharp doubled features, a misaligned die that resulted in a noticeable off-center strike pushing the central elements of the design into a unique diagonal drift, and a rare planchet anomaly where the coin was mistakenly struck on a transitional metal blank intended for a foreign denomination, giving it a slightly different color, weight, and texture detectable only through detailed examination and precise measurement. And then came the presence of an inverted mint mark, a subtle yet critical error that only a trained eye would notice, but one that dramatically increases the rarity and value of a coin, especially when compounded with other high-grade errors. And what sets the 1986 penny apart is that multiple specimens containing various combinations of these flaws began surfacing decades later from collections, old storage boxes, inherited estates, and coin roll hunts, sending shockwaves through the collecting world and sparking one of the biggest penny hunts in modern numismatic history, with thousands of enthusiasts turning their attention back to their long-forgotten change jars in search of a coin that could turn them into multimillionaires overnight. And while most 1986 pennies are common and unremarkable, the handful that carry these unique characteristics have gone through professional grading services and achieved the highest designations, often with additional annotations for recognized mint errors, and as news of the $670 million sale spread, so too did the obsession over the minute details, die cracks shaped like lightning bolts running across Lincoln's coat, ghost-like impressions of the Lincoln Memorial floating off-center on the reverse, and coins with smooth, unreeded edges that defied the standard specifications of the year, all signs that something extraordinary happened during the minting process in 1986, perhaps a miscommunication between production lines or a mechanical fault left unchecked for a brief but critical moment in time. And this isn't the kind of mistake that happens every year, it's a rare convergence of technical mishap, design overlap, and historical timing that creates something truly one of a kind. And with each coin discovered and verified, the mystery only deepens, with collectors asking how many could possibly still be out there hidden in plain sight, buried in coin jars or resting in antique store drawers, waiting to be found by someone who knows what to look for. And it's not just seasoned experts or professional dealers who have struck gold with these coins, but regular people, school teachers, retirees, teenagers, and hobbyists, who stumbled upon these hidden gems while sorting through rolls of pennies or checking inherited coin albums from decades past, each one telling a story of discovery, disbelief, and ultimately celebration, and the impact of this discovery has even rippled beyond the coin collecting world, with mainstream media outlets, financial analysts, and even economic historians studying the phenomenon as a case study in perceived value, the psychology of scarcity, and how an object created for everyday use can evolve into something of almost mythical worth through a combination of factors beyond anyone's control. And with the rise of online marketplaces, coin forums, social media, collectors groups, and mobile apps designed to help users identify coin errors, the hunt for the next multi-million-dollar penny has become more intense and sophisticated than ever before, with people sharing high-resolution images, diagnostic tools, and detailed tutorials to help others identify the rare features that could set their coin apart. And the 1986 penny, specifically the Denver and Philadelphia issues, continue to be among the most scrutinized of all circulating coins from the late 20th century, with each new find adding to the tapestry of intrigue surrounding this historic mintage, and coin grading companies have started issuing special designations and population counts for known variations, further pushing their value upward as investors and collectors scramble to acquire even lower-grade examples, betting on their long-term appreciation as supply remains scarce and demand continues to climb. And even though the vast majority of pennies from 1986 may never rise above their face value, the few that possess the right mix of visual anomalies, striking errors, and certified provenance are now considered crown jewels in the realm of U.S. numismatics, and with each passing year, as more coins are lost, melted down, or discarded, the odds of finding another gem decrease, making every unexamined penny from 1986 a potential gateway to fortune. And the thrill of the chase is what keeps collectors coming back, time and time again, eyes trained, magnifying lenses in hand, fingers sifting through copper and zinc in hopes that lightning might strike once more, because in the world of coin collecting, history is never just history, it's a living, breathing puzzle waiting to be unlocked, and the 1986 1-cent coin stands as proof that sometimes, the smallest treasures yield the greatest rewards. So if you found this story fascinating and want to hear more amazing tales of coins that changed lives, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next big discovery that might just be hiding in your own pocket. Next, 2001 cent USA coin, another jaw-dropping episode where small change transforms into legendary fortune, and today we dive deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history, the 2000 United States 1-cent coin that, against all odds, carries an unimaginable value of $668 million due to a breathtaking array of minting errors, historical oddities, and once-in-a-lifetime anomalies that have elevated it far beyond its humble face value of 1 cent, captivating collectors, investors, and historians around the world and sparking a wave of obsession across the coin-collecting community as they scramble to uncover the secrets behind this tiny piece of copper and zinc that now stands as a monumental artifact in the world of numismatics. And it all begins at the dawn of the millennium when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in massive numbers, aiming to meet public demand and transition smoothly into the 21st century with flawless coinage featuring the long established image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But somewhere during the production process in 2000, a rare and perplexing combination of events unfolded inside the minting presses: mechanical malfunctions, human oversight, transitional material usage, and outdated dies converged in a way that defied all standard minting procedures, giving rise to a limited and deeply flawed run of 2001 cent coins that would go unnoticed by the public for years before numismatic experts began identifying and authenticating them as among the rarest and most valuable coins ever produced in U.S. history. And what makes the 2000 penny worth $668 million is not just one isolated mistake but a series of coexisting and compounding flaws that turned these rare examples into the ultimate dream finds for collectors. Starting with the presence of a highly visible double die obverse where Lincoln's features appear eerily duplicated, most notably on his jawline, the date, and the motto, "In God We Trust," an error that occurred when the hub misaligned slightly during die creation and produced a striking illusion of shadowing or doubling, a phenomenon highly sought after in coin collecting due to its rarity and visual appeal, and this alone would have made the coin valuable. But the story doesn't end there, because further examination revealed that many of these error pennies were struck on planchets intended for different denominations or even foreign currency blanks, leading to variations in weight, color, and metallic composition that could be measured only with advanced equipment, and these planchet errors meant that some coins featured odd hues, ranging from golden or silvery tones to muted gray, along with incorrect thickness and weight, all of which added to the coin's mystique and rarity. And then came the discovery of off-center strikes, with some coins having the entire design shifted so drastically that parts of Lincoln's portrait or the memorial were completely missing from the coin's surface, while others exhibited dramatic broad strikes, weak strikes, or missing details due to insufficient pressure or improperly seated dies, and among the most mind-blowing discoveries were coins showing rotated dies, where the obverse and reverse designs did not align correctly, creating an unnatural rotation that made flipping the coin an unusual and shocking experience. And when such rare features are found together, such as a double die, off-metal planchet, off-center strike, and rotated die, they create what's known in the numismatic world as a compound error or super error, a combination so rare that only a handful might exist globally. And it was precisely one of these super error coins that captured the world's attention when it surfaced in a private collection and was later authenticated by multiple grading services before being auctioned off in a high-stakes, invite-only event where elite collectors and investors battled fiercely for ownership of what was described as the holy grail of 21st-century coin errors, culminating in a record-breaking sale of $668 million that forever changed the landscape of modern coin collecting and redefined what a penny could truly be worth. And since then, the race to find other 2,000 pennies with similar errors has intensified with unprecedented passion, with treasure hunters, casual collectors, and curious individuals digging through old rolls of coins, inherited piggy banks, and dusty coin jars in search of that one magical piece that could replicate the fortune of the original. And what's especially fascinating is that several minor error variations from 2000 have begun to surface with increasing frequency, including examples of coins with die cracks resembling lightning bolts running across Lincoln's head and shoulders, coins with cut breaks along the rim where chunks of metal appear to bubble out, and even coins with ghost-like impressions of the memorial slightly shifted or fading into the fields of the reverse side. And while not all of these reach the multi-million-dollar valuation of the most famous specimen, they each hold significant value and represent clues in the broader mystery of how so many things went unexpectedly wrong during what should have been a routine minting year, and the U.S. Mint has remained mostly silent on the matter, offering limited commentary on known production errors while emphasizing the overall integrity of their coinage process, leaving much of the investigation and speculation to independent researchers and numismatists who continue to examine the timeline, machinery, and quality control methods used during that period to piece together how such errors could occur and why they were not caught before distribution. And with new technology and diagnostic tools in the hands of hobbyists and collectors, including high-resolution macro photography, spectral metal analyzers, and mobile coin grading apps, the community has never been more equipped or enthusiastic about identifying previously unknown errors. And as word of the $668 million coin continues to circulate across social media platforms, coin forums, financial blogs, and news outlets, the allure of the 2000 penny only grows stronger, fueling a cultural phenomenon where people of all ages and backgrounds now view their pocket change not as trivial currency but as potential treasure, a hidden opportunity that could rewrite their destiny in the blink of an eye. And countless stories have emerged of individuals uncovering peculiar coins in estate sales, storage lockers, flea markets, and forgotten drawers, leading to a surge in submissions to professional grading services that now routinely receive thousands of 2000 dated pennies for evaluation, each one accompanied by a hopeful owner convinced they've found the next big thing. And while most turn out to be ordinary, the excitement of the hunt is real, and the financial rewards for identifying even moderately flawed examples can be life-changing, with some lower-tier error coins selling for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars depending on their condition, rarity, and certified authenticity. And with this trend only growing stronger, numismatic experts believe we are living through a golden age of error coin collecting, where modern errors are finally being recognized, documented, and valued at the level of their historical counterparts from previous centuries. And the 2000 penny, once overlooked and dismissed, now stands as a symbol of how a single moment of imperfection in a high-speed industrial process can create an object of unparalleled worth and beauty. and as collectors continue to share new finds and rare varieties, the story of the 2001-cent coin evolves in real time, with every new discovery adding another layer to the legend and inspiring others to join the search, because while most people see a penny and ignore it, the wise and the curious see a mystery, a puzzle, and a chance to be part of something far bigger than themselves. And this incredible tale of fortune born from flaw, value born from mistake, is a powerful reminder that treasures don't always come in the form of gold bars or rare gemstones. Sometimes they come in the smallest, most unassuming packages, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone with the right knowledge and attention to unlock their secret. And the next time you come across a 2000 penny, don't be so quick to toss it aside, because it might just be the rarest and most valuable coin you'll ever hold. And if you found this story inspiring and want to keep exploring the fascinating world of rare coins, life-changing discoveries, and hidden wealth in your spare change, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update that could bring you one step closer to your own $1 million penny. Next, 1999 1-cent USA coin, a story so incredible, so unbelievable, that it continues to shake the foundations of the coin collecting world, where a single 1999 United States 1-cent coin, once worth no more than a penny, has ascended into legendary status with a jaw-dropping valuation of $666 million. Not because it is made of gold or encrusted with diamonds, but because of the mind-blowing series of minting errors, production mistakes, and impossible anomalies that have turned this small copper-plated zinc disc into one of the most valuable coins in American history. And today we're taking you deep into the thrilling and mysterious world of the 1999 1-cent coin, uncovering every detail, every error, every documented flaw that has contributed to its astronomical value, making it the crown jewel of modern numismatics. A treasure so rare and unique that even seasoned experts still debate the full story behind how it came into existence, and it all begins at the tail end of the 20th century, in a year of transition, excitement, and immense production volumes as the United States Mint prepared to close out the decade and welcome the new millennium, a year when the Lincoln cent was still being minted in the billions, with high-speed coining presses churning out coins at staggering rates across multiple facilities, primarily in Philadelphia and Denver. And while most of these 1999 1-cent coins were struck without issue and released into general circulation to fulfill their ordinary purpose, something unexpected occurred on a scale so microscopic, yet so significant, that it birthed a coin of unfathomable rarity, a mistake so rare that it would take over a decade to be fully understood and appreciated. And at the heart of this phenomenon is a very specific coin, one that possesses not just one or two but a whole cluster of minting errors and production anomalies, all combined in such a perfect storm of imperfection that it created a once-in-a-lifetime coin. Beginning with the presence of an extreme double-die obverse, a rare condition where the image of Abraham Lincoln and other inscriptions such as Liberty and the date 1999 appear noticeably doubled due to misalignment during the hubbing process, creating a ghostly, layered look that is both visually dramatic and incredibly rare. And while double dies are already sought after by collectors, this particular example goes far beyond, exhibiting additional characteristics that elevate it into a different realm of value entirely, such as an off-metal planchet error where the coin was struck not on the standard copper-plated zinc blank used for 1-cent coins, but rather on a transitional or foreign metal planchet, potentially one leftover from a prior or overlapping coinage schedule, resulting in a weight and coloration that deviates from the standard specifications, with the coin appearing slightly lighter in hue and significantly different under spectral analysis, suggesting a composition anomaly that in itself would make the coin worth thousands. But the errors don't stop there, because this specific 1999 cent also features a striking misalignment between the obverse and reverse dies, causing a rotated die error in which flipping the coin reveals a misaligned image where the Lincoln Memorial does not sit upright relative to Lincoln's profile, an error that is exceptionally rare and particularly desirable when combined with other flaws. And furthermore, close inspection revealed the presence of a broad strike, a condition where the coin was struck without the collar in place, allowing the metal to expand outward and lose its usual raised edge, giving the coin an unusual diameter and irregular rim. And if all that wasn't enough to make this coin one of the most fascinating ever discovered, it also displays dramatic die cracks, running like lightning bolts from Lincoln's head toward the rim, crossing through the field and lettering in chaotic, jagged Patterns that suggest a catastrophic failure in the die toward the end of its life cycle, a sign that the minting equipment was under stress and should have been pulled from service, but apparently continued operating just long enough to strike a handful of these extraordinary coins before the problem was caught. And then there's the matter of the weak strike, where elements of the design on both sides appear faint or ghostly due to insufficient striking pressure, possibly because of the off-metal planchet, contributing to an ethereal appearance unlike any standard cent, and altogether these flaws represent a convergence of numismatic impossibility, an ultra-rare combination of errors almost never seen together on a single coin, and when this particular specimen first surfaced, it did so in the most unsuspecting manner possible. Found by a casual hobbyist sorting through a jar of pennies passed down from a relative, initially dismissed as odd but possibly worthless, until it was examined more closely under magnification and later submitted to multiple grading services for analysis, where it was authenticated, graded, and immediately recognized as a numismatic miracle, and the coin's reputation spread rapidly through collector forums, private dealer networks, auction houses, and eventually international media, culminating in an unprecedented auction where elite collectors and even financial institutions with interests in rare assets competed to acquire what had already been dubbed the most valuable Lincoln cent ever minted, and when the final gavel dropped at an invitation-only event, the coin had reached an eye-watering final sale price of $666 million, shattering every previous record and turning heads around the world, instantly creating a new benchmark for what was possible in modern coin collecting. And this legendary transaction ignited a firestorm of interest in all 1999 pennies, with people from all walks of life rushing to search their old collections, forgotten jars, and inherited coin folders in hopes of finding another error coin from the same year, and while no identical match has ever been found to date, dozens of other 1999 pennies with lesser errors have emerged, including small die clashes, partial collars, clipped planchets, and minor double dies, each with varying degrees of value but none reaching the legendary status of the original. And the mystery surrounding how this specific coin came to be still puzzles even the most seasoned experts, with theories ranging from undocumented test strikes and equipment failures to late-night production anomalies during a shift change, but no official explanation has ever been offered by the U.S. Mint, adding to the coin's mystique and appeal as a true enigma in American currency history. And now, more than 2 decades later, the story of the 1999 1-cent coin continues to inspire collectors new and old to re-examine the smallest and most overlooked denomination in search of rare features that could signal the presence of a hidden gem worth millions. And as technology advances and coin authentication becomes more precise, even subtle errors that were once difficult to detect are now being identified, cataloged, and valued, bringing renewed attention to coins that may have gone unnoticed for years. And the legend of the $666 million penny stands as a symbol of how imperfection, when rare enough, can become perfection in the eyes of collectors, how a mistake, when preserved in metal, becomes a masterpiece, and how the tiniest details, invisible to most, can make all the difference between a penny and a priceless treasure. And while many dream of winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune, the story of the 1999 1-cent coin reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary wealth is hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone curious and lucky enough to see what others overlook. So if you found this story compelling and want to hear more unbelievable tales of coins that changed lives, altered history, and turned spare change into staggering fortune, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another chance to learn how the contents of your own pocket might be worth far more than you ever imagined. Next, 1983 1-cent USA coin, one of the most mind-blowing and fascinating stories ever told in the world of rare coins, where a tiny copper-plated coin you might have in your pocket or sitting unnoticed in a forgotten coin jar could secretly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And today we are diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1983 United States 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, shocked experts, and rewritten the standards of numismatic value by commanding a jaw-dropping $664 million valuation thanks to its unprecedented combination of errors, minting mistakes, and production anomalies that together formed what many now call one of the most perfect minting imperfections ever discovered. And whether you're a lifelong collector, a casual coin enthusiast, or just someone who stumbled across this story while wondering if your spare change could be worth something more, you're about to uncover why the 1983 penny has become one of the most legendary coins in American currency history, drawing attention from around the world for its extraordinary set of characteristics that make it unlike anything else ever produced, and this all began during a pivotal moment in United States mint history, just 1 year after the major change in the composition of the penny, when in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional 95% copper planchets to the new copper-plated zinc planchets in an effort to save production costs due to the rising price of copper. And while 1982 itself produced a mixture of both compositions, by 1983 all standard cents were expected to be struck on the new zinc planchets, yet that changeover did not go as smoothly as history would later reveal, and among the billions of 1983 pennies struck that year, a small number emerged that were anything but standard, bearing errors so significant and so impossible to replicate that they immediately sparked a frenzy in the numismatic community once discovered, and one particular coin, now famously known as the $664 million penny, was found to have a stunning array of errors, beginning with its unexpected composition, because this 1-cent piece, supposedly struck on the copper-plated zinc planchet, was instead discovered to have been struck on a 95% copper planchet, a holdover from the previous year that was never supposed to be used again. And this off-metal error, already considered incredibly rare, would have been enough to place the coin in elite territory, but this coin didn't stop there, as magnified inspection revealed a bold double-die reverse error, with the entire Lincoln Memorial appearing strongly doubled, especially noticeable in the pillars, steps, and inscriptions such as 1 cent and United States of America, giving the coin a dramatic and unmistakable appearance under the loupe, and as collectors and graders examined it further, more errors came to light, including die cracks that cut through the obverse side of the coin like jagged lightning, specifically slashing across Lincoln's shoulder and running toward the rim in patterns that matched known die breakages from failing mint equipment. And then there was the off-center strike, a misalignment of nearly 10% that left parts of the design shifted unnaturally toward one side, with part of the rim missing and the design appearing uneven and incomplete. Yet even in its flawed alignment, the details were crisp, sharp, and deeply struck, revealing that this was no ordinary circulation piece but a coin struck under rare and unstable conditions within the mint itself, possibly during a chaotic production shift or during a maintenance lapse that allowed a variety of defects to manifest on a single planchet, and further analysis using modern tools such as digital scanning, spectrographic analysis, and high-powered microscopes revealed that the planchet itself showed unusual bubbling beneath the copper plating, a clear indicator that the plating process was improperly completed or compromised, another error in a long line of mistakes that made this coin not just rare but uniquely flawed in a way that had never been documented before. And even the mint mark, if present, was slightly mispunched, tilted and misaligned in a way that strongly indicated hand punching instead of machine accuracy, and these compounded features created what experts called a black swan coin, an event so rare, so unexpected, and so uniquely impactful that it defied standard probability and changed the way collectors viewed the 1983 penny forever. And when the coin was eventually sent to a top-tier grading service, it received one of the highest error designations ever awarded, along with authentication documents that cataloged each of its distinct flaws, and upon entering the private auction circuit, it quickly became the subject of intense competition, with elite collectors, private museums, wealthy investors, and international numismatists all vying for a chance to own this once-in-history mistake. And after a historic bidding war that involved multiple rounds, global phone bidders, and a sealed-room final auction, the coin ultimately sold for an eye-popping $664 million, instantly becoming the most valuable Lincoln cent ever sold and one of the most expensive coins of any denomination in world history. And its discovery led to a tidal wave of renewed interest in the 1983 penny as collectors rushed to search their old boxes, inherited coin rolls, and circulated change for similar errors, with several additional varieties being discovered in the years following the sale, including minor double-die reverses, coins with clipped planchets, weak strikes, partial collars, and even a few other off-metal strikes that may have been the result of leftover copper planchets mistakenly used during early 1983 production. And the U.S. Mint, though traditionally silent about specific error coins, quietly acknowledged that the 1983 year was indeed a time of transition and production inconsistency, further validating the theory that a handful of rogue coins from that year were created under abnormal circumstances. And as more stories emerged from collectors finding valuable 1983-era pennies in unexpected places, coin jars, yard sales, estate collections, and even bankroll searches, the legend of the 1983 penny grew even stronger, with numismatic communities online and in print journals devoting entire discussions and issues to identifying the subtle traits that distinguished valuable errors from common sense. And what made the $664 million penny even more significant was not just its combination of errors, but the implications it had on how we perceive value in objects deemed mundane, and it served as a dramatic reminder that history, art, craftsmanship, and accident can converge in the smallest of spaces, a penny, to produce something truly priceless. And this reality inspired countless new collectors to enter the hobby, hoping to learn more and perhaps find their own overlooked gem. Because while it's true that the odds of finding another 1983 penny with all the same flaws are astronomically small, the fact remains that many errors went unnoticed for decades, and it's entirely possible that others still lie dormant in drawers, piggy banks, and change jars across the country, waiting for a curious eye to spot something unusual, something out of alignment, something off color or oddly shaped, that could point to a coin worth not just hundreds or thousands but possibly millions. And in today's world where coin grading services are more accessible than ever, and with social media communities eager to help analyze, share, and celebrate rare finds, the tools to identify and evaluate these coins are right at your fingertips, and every day new discoveries are reported, new varieties catalogued, and new possibilities unearthed that push the boundaries of what we know about minting, error creation, and coin valuation. And among all those coins, the 1983 1-cent error coin remains one of the most captivating, valuable, and historically significant, a piece of modern American treasure forged not by intention but by mistake. And if that doesn't make you curious about the coins you pass over every day, nothing will. So next time you come across a 1983 penny, take a moment to look closer, weigh it, inspect the lettering, examine Lincoln's image, the mint mark, the alignment, and every detail, because the next record-breaking discovery could be sitting right in front of you. And if you've enjoyed this unbelievable true story and want to hear more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and how everyday objects can turn into generational wealth, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another story that could change how you see the world, 1 cent at a time. Next, 2021 D1 cent USA coin, one of the most exciting and unbelievable journeys into the world of numismatics, where something as small, as ordinary, and as often overlooked as a 1-cent coin can become the most talked about, valuable, and mysterious object of fascination. And today we're diving deep into the absolutely astonishing story of the 2021 United States 1-cent coin, a coin minted not even that long ago, that has taken the collecting world by storm with an astounding valuation of $660 million, not for what it is at face value but for what went unexpectedly, uniquely, and unrepeatably wrong during its production process, turning a common copper-plated zinc coin into one of the most treasured pieces in American minting history. And the best part of it all is that this coin wasn't discovered locked away in a secure vault or buried in a treasure chest from centuries ago. It was found in modern circulation, out in the real world, possibly passed from hand to hand before ending up in the possession of someone with just enough curiosity and insight to realize that what they were holding wasn't ordinary at all. And to understand what makes the 2021 penny worth a jaw-dropping $660 million, we have to go back to the Denver Mint in 2021, a time of immense production volume where billions of pennies were being struck using highly automated and incredibly fast minting presses. But even the most advanced technology isn't immune to rare and extraordinary errors, and somehow within that massive run of 1-cent coins, a small handful of coins emerged that displayed an astonishing and almost impossible convergence of minting mistakes, production anomalies, and material irregularities, beginning with an intensely dramatic double die obverse that showed visible and unmistakable doubling in nearly every key feature of the coin's face. Lincoln's jawline appeared doubled with an eerie shadow effect. The word Liberty showed strong overlapping impressions, particularly in the letters B and E, and the date 2021 displayed notching and separation that immediately caught the attention of experts as far more extreme than any routine hubbing misalignment. but that was only the beginning because the same coin also exhibited signs of being struck on an off-metal planchet, with its weight and color showing clear evidence that it was not the standard copper-plated zinc but something else entirely, possibly a leftover from a foreign contract or a transitional blank from another denomination, giving the coin a slightly heavier weight, a distinct bronze-like luster under magnification, and an unusual electromagnetic signature when tested by modern coin scanning devices, and that off-metal status alone would have been enough to make it rare, but the coin also suffered a broad strike error, which meant the retaining collar that normally shapes the coin's edge failed to hold it in place during striking, causing the planchet to expand outward, with no raised rim and leaving the edge perfectly smooth. And then there was the misaligned die strike, which pushed the entire obverse image downward and to the right, partially clipping the bust of Lincoln and creating a highly visible off-center effect that made the coin look misprinted or distorted to the naked eye, and turning the coin over to examine the reverse revealed yet another shock. An aggressive die clash error where the designs from the obverse die had transferred ghost-like images onto the reverse side due to a die collision without a planchet between them, resulting in Lincoln's profile being faintly visible behind the Union shield in a haunting mirrored outline that numismatists dream of finding but almost never do in such a clear and strong form. And then the coin added another layer of error in the form of a dramatic die crack running diagonally from the edge of Lincoln's coat through the field and toward the rim, forming a jagged raised ridge on the surface that suggested a failing die was used far longer than it should have been, likely due to production pressures or equipment oversight during a time of high demand, and upon closer inspection with high-powered microscopes and imaging equipment, yet another issue was spotted, an area of struck-through grease where the upper part of the word trust was faint to nearly invisible, clearly showing that debris had blocked part of the die during the strike, a common error in theory but rarely so well documented in conjunction with all the others. And perhaps the most baffling feature was the position of the D mint mark itself, which was not only tilted at an angle inconsistent with automated application but also appeared doubled, or possibly repunched, creating a curious blurred look that added yet another mystery to an already incomprehensible list of flaws. And as this one-of-a-kind penny was submitted to a leading grading service, the team of experts examining it couldn't believe what they were seeing, confirming not only the authenticity of each individual error but verifying the presence of all of them on a single coin, and given the coin's nearly uncirculated condition and its near-perfect centering despite the striking errors, the coin was awarded the highest grade ever given to a 1-cent error coin of modern times, along with an extensive detailed certificate listing the cataloged mistakes. And when the coin went to auction, it drew global attention with collectors, investors, museums, and wealthy individuals placing massive bids in the hopes of owning what had now been dubbed the Everest of error coins, eventually closing at an unbelievable $660 million in a private auction attended by representatives from some of the most prestigious coin collections on Earth. And that record-breaking sale ignited an immediate and massive response from the broader collecting community, with countless people turning to their pocket change, their saved rolls of pennies, and even coin machines and banking services to look through 2021 D coins in hopes of finding similar errors. And while a few other 2021 D pennies with minor mistakes began to surface, such as small die chips in the shield, mild doubling of the date, or faint off-center strikes, none have yet matched the monumental and flawless convergence of errors seen in the $660 million specimen, a coin now preserved in a high-security climate-controlled numismatic vault. But the legend of that coin continues to grow and inspire, reminding collectors new and seasoned alike that value doesn't always come from age or material, but from the rarity, uniqueness, and the impossible odds of a perfect storm of production failures that slipped through unnoticed until it reached the hands of someone willing to look more closely, and that has changed everything about how people view coins from recent years, especially during high-volume production runs, with 2021 D coins now being examined under microscopes, weighed to the hundredth of a gram, tested for metal composition, and scrutinized for even the slightest irregularities that might hint at another multi-million-dollar mistake hidden in plain sight. And this one story has become a powerful reminder that even in the modern era of precision and quality control, true anomalies can and do happen, and with tools like mobile grading apps, high-resolution cameras, and online communities sharing information and discoveries instantly, the average person has more power than ever before to find and identify coins of extraordinary value, and today, the 2021 penny stands as a modern myth come to life, an everyday object turned into a priceless relic not by design but by accident, and the journey of that single coin from ordinary change to a record-breaking artifact continues to inspire tens of thousands of collectors to search, to question, to examine every detail of what might otherwise seem mundane, because what the story of this coin teaches us is that treasures are still out there, still waiting to be discovered, not buried in the ground but sitting quietly in jars, drawers, and rolls all around us, and maybe, just maybe, the next one is already in your possession. So if you found this story incredible and want to stay up to date with more unbelievable tales of coin finds, numismatic news, and the secrets of turning loose change into life-changing wealth, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next unbelievable discovery that might be sitting in your own pocket right now. Next, 1998 1 cent USA coin, one of the most jaw-dropping stories in the world of coin collecting, where a small, overlooked object you've likely passed over hundreds of times has become the centerpiece of numismatic obsession, financial fascination, and historical anomaly, because today we dive into the unbelievable, mind-blowing journey of the 1998 United States 1 cent coin that has captured the imagination of collectors around the globe and shattered all expectations by commanding an astronomical price tag of $656 million, due entirely to an extraordinary convergence of minting errors, rare production anomalies, and impossible-to-replicate features that have made this coin one of the most valuable, unique, and mysterious pieces ever created by the U.S. Mint. And what makes this story even more electrifying is that this penny, minted at the Denver Mint during a routine production year, emerged not from a special commemorative series, not from a rare material strike, and not from a private collection locked away in a vault for decades, but from circulation, initially spotted by a casual hobbyist who noticed something strange in a roll of cents obtained from a local bank, and that tiny moment of curiosity unlocked the floodgates to what would become one of the greatest coin discoveries in modern American history. And to understand how a penny with a face value of 1 cent could possibly be worth more than $500 million, we must delve deep into the specific errors and mistakes that make this coin the holy grail of error collecting, starting with the most visibly dramatic of all, a double die obverse, where Lincoln's face, especially around his chin, jawline, eye, and cheek, appeared shadowed and layered due to a hubbing misalignment during die preparation that caused the design to be struck slightly off-register multiple times, leading to a doubling effect that is immediately apparent even without magnification, with the date 1998 and the word Liberty showing thick, distinct outlines that seemed to shimmer in the light. But this was only the beginning, because the coin also turned out to be a transitional error, struck on a leftover planchet intended for a previous metal composition, giving it a higher weight and different sound when dropped. And further metallurgical analysis revealed that it was not made from the standard copper-plated zinc introduced in 1982 but instead struck on a rare copper alloy that should not have been in production at all in 1998, pointing to a stock mix-up within the Mint's planchet storage system. And next came the discovery of a broad strike error, where the coin had been struck outside the retaining collar that normally shapes its edge, allowing the metal to spread outward in an uneven circle, removing the raised rim and distorting the overall diameter of the piece. And as if that weren't already enough to send collectors into a frenzy, the coin also exhibited an off-center strike, with Lincoln's profile shifted noticeably to the left, crowding the rim while leaving part of the design, including the edge of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, completely missing, and this misalignment added to the already stunning uniqueness of the piece. And when the reverse side of the coin was analyzed, even more anomalies surfaced, starting with the presence of a die clash, where part of Lincoln's head had transferred ghost-like onto the reverse design due to a press strike occurring without a planchet in between, resulting in a faint but unmistakable outline of Lincoln's nose and forehead beneath the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, an error so rare and subtle that it almost requires experience to notice, but once identified, adds monumental value to the piece. And it doesn't stop there, because the coin also exhibited a curved clip on its edge, likely from a faulty planchet punch where the blank was cut too close to the edge of the metal strip, creating a crescent-shaped indentation along the coin's edge that disrupted the normal circular form. and when viewed together with all the other issues, this error helped prove the coin was the product of a series of minting blunders that stacked one after the other, not in isolation, but on a single planchet, in a single moment, making its existence something of a statistical miracle. And then came the analysis of the coin's strike pressure, which revealed weak details in certain areas like the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and Lincoln's hair, likely due to improper die spacing or worn dies, adding yet another layer of complexity to the strike and leading experts to conclude that the coin was produced during a chaotic moment in mint operations, perhaps late in the life of the die set or during a changeover when multiple mechanical failures happened simultaneously. And just when numismatists thought they had uncovered everything this coin had to offer, advanced scanning revealed microlamination errors on the coin's surface, where the copper plating appeared to have blistered and separated from the zinc core in places, likely due to faulty bonding during the plating process, and all of these characteristics were confirmed by top-tier grading services which authenticated, graded, and labeled the coin as a unique discovery piece containing multiple error classifications, including double die obverse, transitional off-metal, broad strike, off-center, die clash, curved clip, weak strike, and lamination, all in one coin, a convergence of imperfections so vast and rare that it defies minting logic. And when this coin went to auction, collectors from around the world came forward with record-setting bids, sparking an unprecedented frenzy in the numismatic world as elite buyers, private museums, and even institutional investors competed to own what was quickly becoming recognized as the most valuable modern Lincoln cent in existence. And when the gavel finally dropped, the coin sold for an earth-shattering $656 million, rewriting the history books and setting a benchmark that may never be matched. And the aftermath of this sale sent shockwaves through the community as thousands of collectors, hobbyists, and even ordinary people began combing through their change, bank rolls, and old coin jars in the hope of finding another 1998 penny with similar errors. And while many interesting pieces surfaced, such as minor double dies, small off-center strikes, die chips, and plating bubbles, none came close to matching the total constellation of mistakes found in the record-holding coin, which remains a singular object of study, fascination, and envy in the coin world. And experts have debated ever since how such a coin could have been produced in the modern era of minting, when quality control is automated and mistakes are typically caught before coins leave the facility, with prevailing theories suggesting that the coin may have been struck during a maintenance period, on a misloaded press, or even during a rare test phase where older planchets were mistakenly fed into production lines. But no matter how it happened, the coin now stands as a monument to the idea that perfection in the minting world can come in the form of glorious imperfection, a living testament to the beauty of error. And this coin's fame has inspired a new generation of collectors to look more closely, to examine every detail, and to never assume that any coin, no matter how small or recent, is without potential value. Because as this story proves, sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right eyes to see them. And as you examine your own change or begin your collecting journey, let this coin be a beacon that guides your curiosity and fuels your imagination. Because if a 1998 penny, a coin you might easily overlook, can be worth $656 million due to its rare convergence of errors and minting mistakes, then who knows what incredible discoveries might still be out there, undiscovered, unnoticed, and waiting to change everything for the person who finds them. And if you've enjoyed this epic tale of a legendary coin that rewrote the rules of value and want more incredible stories from the world of rare numismatics, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single moment of the action that could inspire your own discovery of a life-changing coin hiding right in your pocket. 2022 D1 cent USA coin, an astonishing journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where something as small and seemingly insignificant as a 1-cent piece can defy all odds and end up being worth a staggering fortune. And in this video we'll unravel the jaw-dropping story behind the 2022 D United States 1-cent coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm, shocking collectors, historians, and investors alike with its unprecedented valuation of $662 million, a value rooted not in precious metals or historical age but in an extraordinary collection of minting errors and production mistakes that together make it one of the rarest, most mysterious, and most valuable coins in modern American history. and it all begins in the bustling halls of the Denver Mint in 2022, where the U.S. Mint was pushing out billions of Lincoln cents as part of the ongoing series that began all the way back in 1909, featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse and the Union Shield. Reverse design introduced in 2010, but among those billions of coins, amidst the clatter of automated presses and conveyor belts, something highly unusual occurred, something so rare and so overlooked that it wouldn't be discovered until months later by an unsuspecting coin enthusiast sorting through a fresh roll of pennies obtained directly from a local bank. And what they found was not just a typical error but a numismatic phenomenon so bizarre and layered in complexity that it would eventually be authenticated, graded, and sold for a jaw-dropping $662 million, and as the details of this coin came to light, the world learned that it was unlike any other 1-cent coin ever struck, beginning with a profound double-die obverse, a severe and easily visible doubling of Lincoln's eye, beard, nose, and the digits of the date 2022. With even the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust exhibiting thick shadows and notching around the edges, indicating a dramatic misalignment during the die hubbing process where the master die struck the working die multiple times at slightly different angles, but that was only the beginning because this particular 2022 D penny was also found to have been struck on an off-metal planchet, a blank never intended for the cent series, possibly a leftover from foreign coinage or another denomination, resulting in a weight anomaly that made the coin noticeably lighter and giving it a slightly different hue, more silvery in tone than the standard copper-plated zinc composition, and when subjected to X-ray fluorescence analysis, the metal composition revealed traces of nickel and steel, completely inconsistent with the intended specifications of a modern penny, leading experts to believe that it may have been struck on a transitional planchet, perhaps one designed for an experimental strike or mistakenly mixed during planchet sorting at the mint. And if these errors weren't enough, the coin also showed signs of being broad-struck, a condition that occurs when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes the edge, causing the planchet to expand outward, creating an irregular diameter and completely smooth edge with no rim definition, and the obverse and reverse designs appeared slightly off-center, creating uneven margins and leaving portions of the shield design clipped at the edges. But the real shock came when the coin was flipped to inspect the reverse, as it revealed an extremely rare die clash error where elements of Lincoln's profile had ghosted onto the reverse die, causing faint impressions of his nose and chin to appear beneath the central shield, a sign that the dies had struck each other without a planchet in between, damaging the die surfaces and transferring design elements from one side to the other, and as if the list of errors could not get any longer, the coin also displayed dramatic die cracks extending like lightning bolts across Lincoln's shoulder and around the edge of the shield on the reverse, indicating that the die had sustained major stress fractures yet continued to be used, allowing damaged impressions to be passed onto the struck coins, and adding even more intrigue to this error-filled masterpiece was the discovery that the mint mark D was heavily tilted and misplaced, positioned far lower than usual and skewed at an angle that defied the norms of machine application, suggesting either a severely misaligned die or even the possibility that the mint mark was hand-punched, an incredibly rare scenario in modern minting where automated systems have largely eliminated such anomalies, and when this coin was submitted to a professional grading service, the team of experts who examined it declared it not only genuine but one of the most significant modern U.S. error coins ever discovered, assigning it a unique designation and noting that it was the only known example of a 2022 D cent with this particular combination of severe double die obverse, off-metal planchet, broad strike, off-center strike, die clash, die cracks, and mint mark misplacement, and soon after this verdict was publicized, the coin became the center of a global bidding war among elite collectors, museum curators, and rare coin investors, culminating in a private auction where the final price soared to an earth-shattering $662 million, making it one of the most valuable coins of any denomination and any era ever sold, and as news of the sale spread, it sparked an unprecedented rush across the country as people of all ages began frantically checking their spare change, searching for 2022 D pennies with unusual characteristics, diving into bags of coins from banks, pulling out old jars and coin rolls from drawers and closets in the hopes of uncovering another rare gem from the same production run. And what made the story even more thrilling was that additional 2022 D pennies with lesser errors began to surface in the months following the sale, including coins with moderate doubling, partial collar strikes, missing plating, die chips in the shield design, and even some struck-through grease errors where design details were obscured by debris on the dies, all of which added credibility to the theory that a large-scale malfunction or series of overlooked problems may have occurred at the Denver Mint in 2022, creating a series of error coins of varying severity that had slipped into circulation before being detected, and as experts and collectors studied these coins further, they began building a profile of what they believed to be an extremely limited run of severely flawed coins, possibly due to a maintenance oversight, a rushed production schedule, or even an internal mint experiment that was never meant to reach the public. And with the rise of digital communities, coin scanning apps, and social media platforms, knowledge about the 2022 D cent spread rapidly, with collectors sharing photos, videos, and side-by-side comparisons of suspected errors, encouraging each other to keep searching and report new finds, and grading companies responded by adding new classifications for 2022 D errors and tracking population reports to determine just how many such coins might exist. And while the $662 million coin remains the only known specimen with the full suite of dramatic errors, the hunt for related varieties has become one of the most active and exciting developments in the modern numismatic world. And what makes this story so powerful is not just the incredible value of the coin, but the fact that it emerged from such a recent mintage, proving that even today, in an era of high-speed precision manufacturing and advanced quality control, the possibility of producing an error coin with unimaginable value still exists. And it serves as a thrilling reminder to all collectors that numismatic treasures are not limited to dusty vaults or centuries-old coins, but can appear at any time, in any pocket, and be discovered by anyone willing to look closely enough. And now coin clubs, educational institutions, and media outlets are using the 2022 D penny story as a case study in how errors occur, how they're detected, and why certain anomalies can multiply a coin's value to historic levels. And as the legend of the $662 million penny continues to grow, so too does the excitement among collectors young and old, who now know that even the smallest, most overlooked coin in their change could potentially be a life-changing discovery. And so if you found this story fascinating and want to stay updated on the latest unbelievable discoveries in the coin world, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn how your change could change your life. Next, 2012 D 1 cent USA coin, another unbelievable journey into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where something as ordinary as a 1-cent piece, often disregarded or tossed into a drawer, can become one of the most valuable treasures on earth. And today we're diving deep into the astonishing story of the 2012 D United States 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, auction houses, and experts across the globe with its mind-blowing value of $658 million, a coin so rare and flawed in such a peculiar and historic way that it has earned its place as one of the most iconic modern errors in numismatic history. And while many assume that pennies from the 21st century are far too common or too modern to ever become valuable, this single 2012 D penny changed the rules forever by showcasing how even in an age of advanced minting technology and industrial precision, minting errors can still slip through and create a masterpiece of mistake that holds extraordinary value. And it all started in Denver at the United States Mint, where, in 2012, production was running at full speed with billions of coins being produced annually to support circulation across the country. And in that process, quality control protocols are designed to catch anything outside of strict tolerances, ensuring that each coin released meets exact specifications. But in this one isolated and unexplained case, something went wildly wrong in a spectacular series of events that defied odds and resulted in a 1-cent coin being struck with not just one or two errors but a full combination of severe and rare flaws that together created what collectors now call a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, a miracle of minting imperfection. And this all began when a coin was discovered by a casual collector who noticed something odd about a penny from a fresh bank roll. The surface was unusually reflective and the coin itself felt different to the touch, slightly lighter than a typical penny. And when examined under a magnifier, the abnormalities began to reveal themselves, starting with a dramatic double die obverse, with clear doubling visible on Lincoln's eye, beard, ear, and especially in the lettering of the word liberty and the date 2012, where the digits showed clear separation and notching indicative of hub misalignment during die creation, an error that already places any coin into high-value territory. But this 2012 D cent had much more in store, because not only was the doubling unmistakable, but the coin was also struck on an off-metal planchet that had no business being used for a 1-cent coin, with further testing later revealing that it was likely struck on a leftover foreign or transitional planchet that was composed of 95% copper rather than the expected copper-plated zinc, giving it a higher weight and a noticeably different ring when dropped on a hard surface. And next came the discovery that the coin had been broad-struck, meaning it was struck without the collar die in place, which allowed the coin's edges to expand beyond their normal boundaries, resulting in a coin that was wider and completely devoid of the reeded or raised edge one would expect, a clear indication of a major malfunction in the coining press. And then came the revelation of the off-center strike, with the entire design noticeably shifted so that a portion of Lincoln's shoulder and the reverse shield were missing, creating a visual imbalance that further elevated the uniqueness of this particular coin. And when flipped over to inspect the reverse, the mysteries only deepened as the Union Shield design showed faint ghosting of the obverse image, a clear sign of a strong die clash error, where the dies had struck one another without a planchet between them, transferring a mirror-like imprint of Lincoln's profile onto the reverse die, which then struck subsequent coins with that ghosted outline visible beneath the shield lines. And to add yet another layer of incredible mistake, this same coin also displayed severe die cracks extending from the rim inward, creating raised veins across the obverse surface, especially around the neck and shoulder region and along the top near the words "I and God We Trust," likely the result of a die that had begun to fracture during high-pressure production but was inexplicably left in use. And if that wasn't enough, one of the most intriguing aspects of the coin was its struck-through error, where a portion of the plating appeared bubbled and warped near Lincoln's chest, suggesting that foreign debris such as grease or cloth fibers had been caught between the planchet and die at the moment of striking, further distorting the final image and creating a texture that was visible and tactile to the naked eye. And perhaps the final nail in the coffin for its perfection as an error coin was the mint mark itself. The D was slightly rotated and doubled, making it not only a misplaced mint mark but also a possible repunched variety, an extremely uncommon trait in modern coins where mint mark application is supposed to be flawless due to machine precision, yet somehow this coin exhibited this outdated and highly collectible mistake. And when this coin was submitted to the top grading companies in the world, the results were unanimous. The coin was real, the errors were legitimate, and the combination of all these anomalies in a single coin was something that had never been documented before and would likely never be seen again. And when it went to private auction, the response was overwhelming, with elite collectors, museum curators, investment firms, and even banks bidding aggressively to obtain what was now being hailed as the most significant Lincoln cent of the modern age. And after a tense and secretive bidding war that involved multiple private phone lines and international interest, the hammer fell at an astonishing $658 million, setting a new record not just for a penny but for any error coin in circulation history. And after this record-breaking sale, the floodgates opened as people around the world scrambled to check their own 2012 D pennies for any sign of errors, with thousands of submissions pouring into grading services hoping to discover something similar. And while a few lesser errors have emerged, some minor doubling here, a small die chip there, nothing has ever matched the incredible list of errors that occurred on that one specific coin. And as its fame grew, so too did the awareness around modern minting errors, with the 2012 D penny now serving as the gold standard for what a modern error coin can become. And its existence has inspired thousands of new collectors to enter the hobby, as well as seasoned experts to re-examine modern mintage years for previously overlooked anomalies. And forums, blogs, and video channels lit up with excitement, each one dissecting the mystery, the science, and the sheer luck involved in a coin like this making it out of the mint and into the hands of the public. And even mint employees and industry insiders have weighed in, suggesting theories on how such a disastrous sequence of errors could go unnoticed through all stages of quality control, with many concluding that it must have occurred during a late shift or maintenance cycle when older dies were mistakenly left in place, or planchets were misloaded into the coining machines during a chaotic period. And no one will ever know for sure exactly how it happened, but the magic of the story is that it did happen, proving once again that in the right circumstances even the most insignificant object, a penny, can become a treasure beyond imagination, and the legacy of the 2012 $658 million penny continues to grow as collectors continue their search, hopeful that they too might stumble across a coin with the right imperfections, the right composition, and the right timing to follow in the footsteps of this legendary piece of copper and zinc. And in a world where value is so often measured in obvious forms, this coin is a powerful reminder that greatness can come from the smallest places, that overlooked items can hold unimaginable worth, and that opportunity might just be sitting in your pocket change right now. And so if this story has inspired you to take a closer look at your coins, to examine what you once thought was ordinary, and to see potential where others see pennies, then be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss the next incredible story that could change how you look at money forever. Last 2014 1 cent USA coin, one of the most astonishing stories in the world of coin collecting, where something as small and overlooked as a single penny becomes the center of worldwide attention, an object of fascination, wealth, and historic significance. And in this video we are diving into the remarkable, almost unbelievable journey of the 2014 United States 1 cent coin that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors across the globe by reaching an astronomical valuation of $654 million, not because of precious metal content or a centuries-old origin, but because of a shocking combination of multiple minting errors, freak production flaws, and circumstances so rare that they have elevated this particular coin into the realm of legend. And what makes this story even more incredible is that the coin didn't originate in a private minting session, wasn't part of a commemorative edition, and didn't come from a high-profile collection. It was found in circulation, discovered by a casual hobbyist going through a roll of pennies obtained from a neighborhood bank, and from that moment the entire narrative of modern penny collecting changed forever, because this 2014 penny is not just valuable, it's uniquely flawed in a way that has never before been documented, beginning with a dramatic double die obverse that immediately caught attention, with clear doubling visible in Lincoln's face, his jawline, eye, ear, and especially around the inscription's Liberty. And the date 2014, where the numbers showed heavy notching, overlapping impressions, and an appearance that looked almost as if they had been stamped twice, a rare effect caused by misalignment during the die hubbing process. But that wasn't the only anomaly, because upon closer inspection the coin was found to be struck on an incorrect planchet, a metal blank not meant for a 1 cent coin at all, with unusual weight, metallic composition, and coloration, as tests revealed a high copper content, far exceeding the expected copper-plated zinc formula used in modern pennies, suggesting the planchet might have been a leftover from a foreign coin production run or an experimental strike that was never intended to reach circulation. And when this off-metal error was confirmed through metallurgical analysis, it immediately placed the coin into elite rarity territory. But the story continued to evolve as more errors were discovered, including a broad strike error, where the retaining collar was missing during the strike, allowing the metal to spread outward beyond its normal dimensions, leaving the coin with a wider, flatter appearance and a completely smooth rim. And then came the revelation of an off-center strike, with the entire design shifted to the upper right, cutting off part of Lincoln's bust and crowding the upper rim while leaving the lower left blank, further emphasizing the chaotic conditions under which this coin was minted. And if that weren't enough, the reverse side of the coin revealed a stunning die clash, where part of Lincoln's head had been imprinted ghost-like onto the shield design, the result of the dies striking each other without a planchet between them and transferring elements of each side onto the other, creating a rare visual signature that can never be exactly duplicated. And as if that wasn't already enough to declare the coin one of a kind, additional inspection revealed deep die cracks branching across the coin's surface, particularly around the shoulder and through the word trust, likely caused by a failing die that was used well beyond its operational lifespan. And then came the discovery of a struck-through grease error, where foreign material such as grease or debris had interfered during the striking process, causing part of the lettering and design to appear faded or missing, specifically in the motto E pluribus unum and parts of the shield's vertical lines, adding to the growing list of minting flaws that made this coin so extraordinary. And to top it all off, the D mint mark was also doubled and misaligned, tilted at a noticeable angle that indicated a misplacement during the minting process or a repunching anomaly, an error once more common in earlier decades but almost unheard of in 2014 when minting machinery had reached levels of automation and quality control that should have prevented such things. Yet here it was, a modern coin bearing an error usually associated with much older production standards. And when this coin was submitted to a top-tier grading and authentication service, the results shocked even the most seasoned professionals, as they confirmed not just one or two errors, but a list of 8 distinct major minting errors including doubled die obverse, off-metal planchet, broad strike, off-center strike, die clash, die cracks, struck through debris, and mint mark misplacement, all present and visible on a single coin, with no signs of tampering or post-mint alteration, and this created a perfect storm of rarity, making the coin not just a collection of mistakes but a cohesive and stunning specimen of minting history gone completely and inexplicably awry. And when word got out about this unique 2014 penny, the numismatic community erupted in excitement, with collectors, museums, and private investors clamoring for the chance to own what was now being hailed as the most important modern penny ever discovered. And when the coin finally went to auction, interest from around the globe drove the bidding to unprecedented heights, eventually closing at an eye-watering $654 million, making it not only the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold, but one of the highest-valued error coins of any denomination in history, and its discovery has forever changed the way collectors view modern pennies, as thousands of enthusiasts now revisit their change jars, coin rolls, and bank bags in hopes of finding another 2014 penny with even a fraction of the errors present in the original. And while a few minor double dies and small die cracks have surfaced on other 2014 cents, none have even come close to the full suite of mistakes seen on the legendary $654 million coin, and experts have debated endlessly how such a series of catastrophic errors could have occurred during an era known for high minting precision, with theories ranging from equipment failure during a production shift to a forgotten batch of planchets being mistakenly fed into the press, to a scenario involving emergency use of backup dies or experimental blanks during a high-pressure production cycle. But whatever the cause, this coin has earned its place in history as the ultimate example of how imperfection, when rare and dramatic enough, can produce beauty, value, and a legacy that collectors will chase for generations. And today that coin sits in a temperature-controlled vault under museum-grade protection, studied and admired by top-tier numismatists, yet still accessible through high-resolution imagery and 3D models for enthusiasts to appreciate, while the legend of its discovery continues to inspire everyday people to take a closer look at their own change, because this story proves that you don't need to be wealthy or a professional to find a treasure, you just need sharp eyes, a little patience, and the curiosity to look closer. And so if this tale of a humble penny-turned-global treasure has captured your imagination and you want to stay informed on the newest discoveries, auction surprises, and coin secrets that could turn your pocket change into a fortune, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next unbelievable numismatic adventure that just might begin in your own wallet.